Good morning. My name is Ms. Beyerle-White, and today I'm going to be introducing you to the artwork of one of my favorite artists. All right, so let me pull his artwork up here so you can see it. So today, in addition to introducing you to the artwork of artist Joseph Forgety, we're also going to be talking about the principle of design unity and about printmaking, how we make prints. So these are the things that are going to be guiding our art session today. Today, we're going to learn about what unity is and create it in our art compositions. We're going to talk about how our artist Joseph Forgety creates unity in his artwork. And we're going to try different ideas of how to create unity in our own artworks, multiple different ideas when we're sketching. So in art, unity means that all of the parts of an artwork are working together in harmony. Variety within these different elements, the shapes, the lines, the textures you're using, can add interest to the composition. So in this example right here, you've got 9 squares that are all the same size, and that's creating unity. But in the one next to it, you've got different squares and rectangles that are slightly different sizes, but they're all put together with not too much space in between them. So our eye visually groups them, and that creates unity as well. You can also create unity in other ways. You can have unity of texture. So in this first example with these tree trunks and this pattern on the ground, all these little marks create unity in this picture. You can have unity of shape where we see these repeated circles. That's creating unity. And you can have unity of color as well. These are just a few examples. There's even more examples of how you can create unity in an artwork, because unity is the principle of design related to the sense of wholeness and how everything comes together with similarity and variety, but so that everything is working together. So what do you think? Pause for a second and think about this question. Is there only one way to create unity in artwork? Here's some practical tips for how we can create unity and harmony in our artworks. One of the first things you can do is consider the whole space you're designing. You're going to think about what parts you're creating and how they're going to compare to each other, how they're going to compare in size, how they're going to compare in what they are. What are you drawing? If you're drawing a circle and a triangle, is there a relationship between them? Maybe if you add more circles and triangles and mix them up in your picture, then it'll look like it fits together. And we're going to make sure there aren't any empty parts of our picture. Oftentimes, I'll have a student who leaves a lot of space and negative space, especially empty space around the edge of the picture. And that makes it so our eyes go to what is there in the middle. But if we want to have unity in our artwork, we should think about the whole space and not leave any parts empty. So printmaking is the process that we're going to use eventually. We're going to create prints with styrofoam. So printmaking is the process of creating artwork by printing. Ink is transferred to paper from another material, usually a metal plate or a wooden block. And like I said, we're going to use styrofoam for our prints. And these are just a few examples of how that printing process is working. So these blocks and metal already have the ink on them, but then they're putting a paper on top and we get that reverse image. So here you can see someone's pulling that. It looks like this person is also using styrofoam for their print. So they're pulling the styrofoam that they've painted off of their paper, and you can see they've got a reverse image of these snowflakes. So I think that's really cool. This is an example of a wood block print where someone's using special tools to carve into wood to create a really elaborate design. And our artist, Joseph Forgety, creates wood block prints this way. So it's a more complicated process than what we're going to do. We're going to take some of his ideas and simplify them. So we're thinking about unity when we're looking at his prints. Notice how in his artwork, there are repeated shapes and lines that create unity. And we can see that in a lot of his images. How does this image create unity? What do you think? Pause for a second, think about it. What do you see and notice in this image that can create unity? Remember, unity is how the whole picture is working together and looks like it belongs together. I think this image is creating unity by repeating this star shape several times. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars, and they're in different parts of the picture. Some are even almost touching or overlapping. And he's filling the space with these beautiful dots. So those dots and those stars work together to fill the whole print and create a beautiful unified composition. If we just had one star, do you think it would look unified? I don't think so. It would create a lot of focus and emphasis on that one star. And those are different principles of design. But today we're thinking about unity. So we want to think about the whole space. A lot of his artwork, I think, is really beautiful. And I really admire the skill that this artist is using, especially thinking about the whole composition. You can tell he really has a plan when he starts to work because he hasn't forgotten any part of the picture. It's very intentional. He's crafting with intention. He's got a plan. I really like the unity in this artwork. To me, when I look at this artwork, I see a canyon, and I think these are sort of sides of that canyon. And down here, this looks like a body of water, like a lake to me. And then in between different layers of the canyon that are further away, we can see these clouds. So not only does this repeated cloud and the repeated blue color create unity, but also if you think about what clouds and clouds in the sky are made out of, clouds are made out of droplets of water. So I think even compositionally and with the meaning of what these lines are representing, he's creating unity because we can see how the water and the water cycle is working in this image. You can also create unity with color schemes. This one has a lot of mauves and pinks and light colors that all fit together. And I think it might be inspired by the movie The Wizard of Oz. The title is something with a twister. And here we can see a house that's being picked up and a cow. So that's pretty fun and interesting. And unity, in addition to being created with the colors here, I think is created with these repeated lines that go swirling all around the whole composition. All of the composition has these same swirling elements. So I really admire the way this artist is thinking about the whole space. You can also create unity by filling that space and not leaving any part empty. I especially like the unity here. We've got a lot of unity of color with a lot of it being monochromatic blue. We've got unity of texture. You can see all these little different triangle shapes and repeated triangles, both going sideways and vertically. We've also got a lot of repeating lines and patterns. All of that together creates this beautiful image that really looks like it all belongs together, and it's very satisfying to look at it for a long time. So here are the tips that you can remember when you're starting to plan your image. We're going to think about the whole space we're designing. We're going to make sure the parts of our drawing have a relationship with one another. We're not just going to put one thing there that doesn't match anything else. We're going to think about how it all works together. And we're going to make sure there aren't any empty or forgotten parts of our drawing. We're going to fill the whole space with things that are going to make our picture come together in unity. And that's what we're going to do today. I'm so excited for us to get started soon.